Okay, so we're going to be talking a series of different things that are going to be a discussion about both financial and housing impacts that this coronavirus is actually stemming from. And in the process of it, I want to sort of touch on a couple different things. First of all, this situation is actually universal. It is impacting virtually everybody in some way, shape, or form. We have people that are being impacted as small businesses who are having to make business decisions and they're potentially laying people off. There are people that are in the workforce that are not necessarily able to go to jobs because they're not considered essential. There are movie industries where they're not making films. There are sporting events where they're not doing their sports and things along that line. So this is kind of one of those things that have happened that are kind of like a level playing field. And when I say that, I want to call attention to why it is that so many people have some anxiety and things along that line. So, and I'm going to touch on that too. So hang on with me. And part of the reason for doing this series is because I want to give information for you to think about, but also for you to plan forward, okay? Right now, a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands at home. And so let's take this time and make sort of a proactive plan. And I'm going to give you some tools and tips and ideas behind that. And so this is part one of the series that's going to be happening. And I want to touch on something. One of the reasons that I started thinking about this was because I can remember as a child, my mom was a single parent. She was a school teacher, and she jumped into doing real estate in the 80s. Well, when she jumped into real estate, what a lot of people may not remember or realize, or even, especially a lot of you people that I'm speaking to now, is that in October of 1981, interest rates for purchasing a home were at an all-time high. And right now, we're all excited about the lower interest rates. But when my mom got into real estate, interest rates were between 16 and 18%. October of 1981 was the all-time high of 18.63% to actually obtain a mortgage loan. Ouch. Okay, so here's the thing. We survived. They got creative. The people that were purchasing homes still purchased. The people that were selling homes still sold, but we got creative. That was my first sort of inclination to it. So I want to sort of put it a little bit into perspective. What we're experiencing right now is definitely a disruption, but I also want you to understand that this is a temporary disruption. As a matter of fact, what they've done is that when we were looking at some of the statistics that we were just trying to do, we were looking at in the state of California, and not to mitigate and not to make anything light of this, I don't want that to be the case, but in the state of California, we have 35 deaths and we had 1,800 cases that were confirmed with the coronavirus. Okay, well, the population in California is, what was it, Caitlin? 39 million people. So the thing is that when you look at the percentages, 39 million and you have 1,800 cases confirmed, you have 35 deaths. I do not want to make light of that. That is important, but I also want you to put it into perspective, okay? As a matter of fact, I was talking to somebody this morning. Remember we talked about getting facts from people that are smarter than me? Well, so my call based on what the Fed is doing is I wanted to understand sort of what the Fed was doing and why they were doing it. All right. So in reaching out to this gentleman, remember we talked about the Fed is not governed by the government doesn't own the Fed. That said, it's kind of like a circle, okay? So the Fed has one portion of it, the Treasury has one portion of it, the government has one portion of it, and it's a circle. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to make certain that they can keep pumping money into the economy so that way people are not going to be as devastated as it could potentially be. So in the discussion, some of the things that came out of it is that he's forwarded to me multiple different articles, and one of them happens to be from the New York Times, and it talks about, as a matter of fact, it was published in the New York Times, and it was published on March 20th, 2020, so you're welcome to look this up, and it says, is our fight against the corona worse than the disease? And what they're talking about there is the financial fight, okay? And it's not just a matter of the financial fight from a standard of getting the money out there. It's also a confidence fight for the people that are actually in this uncertainty. There's a lot of fear right now, and there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of unknowns. And you know what? We're going to walk through this. But I guess what I mainly want to stress here is we're going to walk together. I want you to think about this. Which would you prefer? 4 quarters or 100 pennies? Type in your answer. Now, what I want you to consider is 4 quarters being 4 key diehard friends. The people that know you, that are going to be there for you, that are going to stand by you, and are going to talk you off of that ledge. You are not alone. You are not solitary. You do have these people. So that way, if you start having this anxious moment, because I'm going to tell you, we all have them. I don't care who you are or where you're at or how you're positioned, we all have them. But if you have those 3 or 4 people that you are, I call them your inner circle diehard friends, they are going to help you get through this in a way that is going to help you act, not react. I think that's going to be my simple statement throughout this whole process. Act, not react. Versus having 100 different pennies that you're listening to on the Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Messenger, on all these different Snapchats and things like that. You know, that can get you into a spiral going down. So let's be calm and let's prevail and let's do the best we can do. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we did is that we had these hand sanitizer pens. We ordered them actually about 3 weeks ago, and they happened to arrive on Friday. And what we did is that I delivered these personally to well over 200 households, as well as some of the other people that are out there, including our police officers and some of the businesses and the bankers. And even I'm going into grocery stores, and whenever I go to a grocery store, I'm handing these out to the employees. But we do have some here, and so if you would like one, it's a refillable sprays pen that you can actually use for hand sanitizer. So just message me. I'm callkrista@gmail.com. Put in the subject line, I'd like to have a personal hand sanitizer. We have limitations on what we have right now, but we did order another 1,000 that are supposed to be coming to us in a couple days. But you know what? We're trying to make a difference. The other thing too is that we're reaching out to the people that may be at risk. So I've called many of my seniors and said, what can I pick up for you? We also fed the homeless shelter. We did meals for 130 people. Do you realize that this whole thing has actually only been about 10 days? Now, they talked about us trying to do self-quarantining for 15 days, and they're going into more. But remember, it may feel like a long time, but it really has not been a long time. And if we look at the statistics, they did do the things as far as getting ahead of the curve. So if you want me to be one of those 4, give me a call, okay? 805-620-7355. Let's talk about how and what is practical for you. But again, we're not at an 18.63% interest rate. We're going to be covering some of the other things that have happened over the course of the last, I would say, 40 years that shows that the US of A will stand. And not only did it stand, but it also got stronger. So I'm Call Krista with OIC Real Estate Services, here to help you see your dreams come true. We appreciate you. We are here for you. We're open and we're in business. It is essential when people sell and buy homes. We have practices in place so that we can help you achieve those goals. And we are rocking and rolling. So if you need us, we're here for you. Call Krista@gmail.com or 805-620-7355. As always, have an amazingly blessed day. Hang in there. Bye.